the Ever Given container ship got stuck in the Suez Canal. Who knew what was on that ship and what it was going to contain? QAD knew what was on that ship if you were using our solutions, and we could give you a heads up on that so that you can then take action.
Supply chains have always been an important part of manufacturing, but I think they've been mentioned a lot more in recent years. Now, Peter, first of all, what is a supply chain?
Okay, so the supply chain runs end to end across a manufacturing business. It starts with your customers and then placing orders with you and their demand, and it then runs right the way through to your suppliers, all the raw materials and components that you need. So it's an end-to-end process.
And we're not talking big companies, we're not talking just OEMs, we're talking even small SMEs, subcontract shops. They will have a supply chain, won't they?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter how big you are, whether you're a multinational or whether you're a two-man band even, you've got a supply chain whether you recognise it or not.
And these supply chains, I guess, have got to be predictable and stable for someone's business to be successful. But what happens when a disruption occurs?
Well, that's the problem. Within the four walls of a manufacturer, you're pretty much in control of what goes on. Outside the four walls, the supply chain can be very, very volatile. And if you think back a few years, there were things like avian flu, then there was COVID. Who predicted either of those events were going to happen and other things that happen along the supply chain? The Ever Given container ship got stuck in the Suez Canal. Who knew what was on that ship and what it was going to contain? QAD knew what was on that ship if you were using our solutions, and we could give you a heads up on that so that you can then take action.
Okay, so let's talk about it now. There's different ways of managing your business. You can use spreadsheets, paperwork. You could even keep it in your head if you wanted to, but there is a new breed of software called like an ERP system, Enterprise Resource Planning. And how do those kinds of software systems handle what happens outside of the business building?
Okay, so the supply chain solutions really bring a digital focus and visibility to what's happening in the supply chain. So if you get goods that are stuck on the Ever Given, for example, we will know that it was dispatched from China and it's not going to reach the port of destination on time. Our solutions can forewarn you that that's going to happen. Within the four walls of the factory, that's important, because if your planner is doing things on a spreadsheet and all of a sudden he finds out that he hasn't got the materials on the day that it was supposed to arrive, but he doesn't know when it is going to arrive, how does he replan it? How long does it take him to use his spreadsheet and replan it? With an ERP solution and connected supply chain solutions, all of that replanning, first of all, you get the pre-warning that it's not going to happen, so you can replan in advance. But more importantly, it's at the touch of a button and it replans everything for you almost instantaneously.
So not only do you save the costs of the planner spending time moving stuff around, you actually get more notice than if you just waited for the day and then the material didn't arrive, for example.
Absolutely. I mean, most manufacturers are very conscious of sweating their assets, getting the best OEE they can out of them. If you're planning today on the basis of material turning up yesterday and it doesn't turn up, how quickly can you react to get all that stuff planned if you're working on spreadsheets? And then if it doesn't get replanned, what's the cost to the business of having your assets sitting there not doing anything because you haven't got the material you thought you were going to get?
Absolutely. And what is that cost to the business? It's not just the assets not being used, but I guess there's other costs associated as well. What are those?
Lots of associated costs in terms of opportunity costs for the business, the overheads that aren't getting absorbed and things like that. But more importantly, are you going to let down a customer and not supply the goods that he wants? And if you do that once, is he going to come back to you? Are you going to lose that business?
Yeah, there are lots of knock-on effects to not being able to manufacture parts when you're expecting to. So Peter, to summarise, why should people choose QAD?
We're the best partner for manufacturing businesses. We concentrate purely on manufacturers. We want to be your partner to help you grow the business.
And if someone's interested today, how do they get in touch?
That's simple. It's qad.com.